Greetings, good people. Welcome to another edition of Leaders and Learners, where we all know that the best leaders are lifetime learners. And today we got a real South Bay OG here with me, Miss Jackie Balestra. But she brought a friend. Maybe a couple people will pop on, but I definitely have Jackie and a friend. And if you don't know who she is, clearly you have not been paying attention. She's the mastermind behind South Bay by Jackie and the South Bay Show. It has done wonders for this community, keeping folks informed, entertained, and let's be real, giving the neighborhood some much needed pizzazz. But now sis has gone on. She done packed it up, retired, hopped in her RV with her husband and said, catch me if you can. And oh, by the way, she's not just sitting still in life just because she's retired. She just dropped a new book called The Rockaway Chronicles. And there is so much that goes on in this book. It's family, it's friends, it's mischievousness, it's everything that you want in a memoir that will definitely help you appreciate quality of life and maybe something many of us are missing. So we're about to get into it. So buckle up, literally and figuratively, and welcome my girl, Miss Jackie Balestra. Hey, Miss Jackie, how are you,
Tanya? I'm great. I'm great.
Man, I'm just so Jackie. I'm just feeling like, woo, it just feels good to have you in the house today. Listen, I want you to tell the people before we even go any further is where are you now? Where are you now? And is it where you want to be?
I'm here in the South Bay. I'm here in the South Bay. As you mentioned, we bought an RV a few years ago, and we're doing a lot of traveling. We're both technically officially retired now. But yeah, I'm here. You know, this is still home. And quite frankly, I'm not a big fan of the cold weather anymore. So you'll find me here all winter long.
But you are New York at heart, and we've had some really long conversations. As long as you've been here in the South Bay, I just hear East Coast all in your chest every time we talk. Do you miss being home?
No. It's a completely different life. No, look, I was born there. I grew up there. But it's a completely different lifestyle. I get home several times a year. My whole family's still back there. So I get back there several times a year, and I love visiting it. I love being a tourist in New York.
How much has it changed since you were there?
Tremendously. I grew up there mostly in the 60s and 70s, and New York was a very, very different place there. Before I moved to California, Times Square still wasn't a safe place to be. Okay. It wasn't until Rudy Giuliani came in the early 80s sometime and cleaned things up, and then developers came in and redeveloped that whole area. So it's a very different city than what it used to be. My neighborhood is still very much the same because we're in a more residential area, not one of the big business districts. So or one of the touristy areas. So my neighborhood is pretty much still the same.
Okay. Now, your location changed. You've done a lot in the South Bay, but I have to ask you before we bring your guests on. You went from being the queen of the South Bay to the queen of the open road. People are loving following your journey, but do you ever wake up in your RV thinking, damn, I miss being in the South Bay, like put? Or do you love what you're doing right now? Are there ever times where you're like, I wish I was back doing the things I was doing?
I don't miss it at all. I don't miss it at all. You have no idea how much work that was. That website and podcast was you should know. It was a tremendous amount of work. It was 24/7, 365. There was no vacation for me. At different times, I've had interns, I have other people working with me, but even like we would go on vacation, I would get up, at like 5 a.m, work for a couple of hours, and then we could go out and do whatever vacation things we do. We get back at 11 o'clock at night, and I'd have to jump back on the computer for another couple of hours. Okay. And it's really interesting because when I announced that I was shutting everything down, I had about a dozen people that wanted to take it over. And I'm like, you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. So yeah, so I don't know that anybody has picked that up. I have no idea, just because it's a lot easier if you just focus on one community. Manhattan Beach, Redondo Beach, Hermosa Beach, El Segundo, Torrance. But when you take all 13 cities of the South Bay, it's a tremendous amount of work. So no,
But on top of
I don't miss it at all.
on top of the business being so needy, because it needed you, I feel like, knowing you as a business professional, that you enjoyed it. Like, you enjoyed the people. And how does retirement kind of differ for you, in that you're not dealing with a lot of people? Did you not like the people? Because I mean, that's fine if you didn't. But we were very fond of knowing that we had Jackie Balestra in the community, and you always looked like you were enjoying all of it.
I did enjoy it. I enjoyed building it. At a certain point, that website had over 1 million users. And I enjoyed building it, and I enjoyed getting to meet everybody. I mean, there's such a community that I wasn't aware of until I started doing that. So yeah, no, I really did enjoy it. And I appreciate all the incredible people I met, and organizations I worked with. But as I like to say, I have about a 10-year attention span. and it was 11 years. So I was ready to move on to something else. So.
All right. Well, speaking of moving on, you've moved on from a few people in the East Coast in your childhood, but I want you to go ahead and introduce Barbara and Chris.
Okay. So Barbara is my older sister. And she lives in New Jersey now. And she's my older sister. She's 8 years older than me, and she has a lot more history in Rockaway than I do. So that's my sister, Barbara Devereaux. And Chris Frazier is one of the kids I grew up with in Rockaway Beach. His family lived in a court up the block from us. And over the years, we ran around together and got in a lot of trouble together. And as you said, a lot of mischief going on. Hi, Chris. Hi, Barbara.
Hello. Much
Thank
fun.
you guys
Hello,
for
Barbara.
being here.
Hi, how are you?
All right. What a weird way to say hello again after 40 years.
Yes.
Well, actually, Chris, the last time I saw you was 2005, because that was the last summer of the bungalows, and you guys were having a barbecue every Saturday night.
Yeah.
And that was the last time I saw you. I saw the whole family.
Right.
Everybody was there. Yeah, that was the last time I saw. That was 20 years ago.
Yeah, the bungalows.
So, Chris, let's start with you, because it obviously, Jackie and her sister. Give me one of your most impactful moments, fun, impactful, mischievous, memorable moments with the family.
Well, the weirdest thing I can remember, and Jackie's probably going to kill me for this one, but Jackie's still the only girl I've ever seen stand up and pee. Whatever that's worth.
You're right. I'm going to kill you.
He pushed us out of the way and says, I can do this too. And boom.
Okay. This is going off the rails already. I remember that, actually.
Right? See?
Barbara, do you remember that, Barbara?
I was not friends with Chris. Chris is Jackie's age.
Okay.
I ran with another crowd.
Oh my God, Chris! What?
Chris, I can't believe that.
What did you do? Like, what were you thinking?
What's that, Dingy Dan's or something like that? I forget exactly what it was, but you pushed us out of. I can do this too. I said, "Oh, wow,
Yeah.
Okay.
Dingy Dance was the name of the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason,
Give me another one, Chris, because this is good. Like,
Well,
people
I
are
mean, that
watching
was,
this that don't know East Coast Jackie.
You
They
didn't
know West
expect
Coast
that, huh?
Jackie.
I'm sure Jackie didn't expect that when she got
No,
me
I
on the line.
did not. I did not.
It was just a wonderful time. We had there was 30 of us, like you said. We had it all. We had the beach all day. We hung out all night, and we just had a wonderful existence down there. Regretfully, it doesn't exist anymore that I know of, anyway.
Yeah. No, you're right.
No, it doesn't.
Oh my God, Barbara, what is one of your most impactful or memorable moments as a child, or watching Jackie as a child? Because sounds like you a little different than Jackie.
Jackie and my younger sister, Christine, because they were so much younger than us, they were running around, in diapers, having a good time. And my mother and father didn't want them to get into trouble. So my father blocked off the whole one side of the whole porch with chicken wire and a gate going across so that they'd have the run of the place without getting into any trouble.
Yeah, the
Chicken
poor,
wire.
half
I
the porch
just
is on playpen.
the more
Yeah,
I
they made
hear, the more I hear Jackie being trouble.
Well, like I'm 8 years older than her, so I was married and out of the house when they were getting into trouble.
Free spirited, not trouble.
Yeah.
So let's get into this book a little bit. I want you, Chris, to tell me your thoughts when you heard that Jackie wrote this book, and be, emotionally, mentally, what were you thinking when you heard Jackie wrote this book?
Well, first, I was thrilled to hear that Jackie had written a book. How very, very cool that is. It was published and all that. I was also concerned that I had to sign something and say that it was okay to use. And I haven't read the book, so I hope I'm not getting trashed in it. But we'll have to see.
What about you, Barbara? What was your thoughts? Like, she telling our secrets? Like, what is going on?
Well, I first heard about it like 10 years ago, and she said that she wanted to tell all of the she wanted to talk about the nostalgia, and then she said there was a couple of cute, family anecdotes in there. So I was like, good for you. And then when I heard she actually got it published, I was like, that's wonderful. And I'm sure there are a couple of cute little funny stories, but I think a lot of it, from what I understand, is how it was then and how much it's changed now. Years ago, you could go to the beach all day and just put a hook and eye on your screen door and leave it open. You can't do anything like that now down there.
Yeah.
And
How has it changed?
how has Rockaway Beach changed?
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, when you drove over the bridge, Cross Bay, you drove into a community of just total bungalows, corner to corner to corner. There was no high rises. There wasn't really even any private homes because they were more in the 90s. From like Beach 98th Street to about 107th Street, it was just blocks of bungalows. And there was no upstairs, downstairs. The bungalow was one. You walked in and you walked into maybe 4 rooms. Most of them had 2 bedrooms, and some of them had you were in little courtyards, so you got to know the people so good because everybody would go down every year and everybody take the same bungalow and you became a family. Now you go over the Cross Bay Bridge, there's a ton of high rises. Some of them are for really low income. Some of them aren't. Some of them, they're trying to build up 116th Street, but I saw 116th Street on a video the other day, and what they're asking for those condos, people that are walking the streets, I don't know how they're going to sell them, to tell you the truth. It's very different.
Wow. Chris,
Yeah,
how do you feel like it's changed?
It's changed a lot. Just a little history. In the late 1800s, Rockaway Beach supported a seasonal coastal community. It was a summer bungalow enclave, and it provided an affordable escape from the hot and humid, East Coast weather. Most of the people, everybody that I knew was from the New York area. Chris's family's from the Bronx. People from Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan. And it was affordable. It was affordable, and that's one of the things that really was exceptional to me, was that we were able to be on vacation 3 months every year. I mean, who gets to do that?
Yeah, no.
Who gets to go? Who gets to be at the beach for 3 months every year? I mean, years later, I figured out it was just us kids that were on vacations. Our parents were obviously working, but I mean, these days, it's summer break from school. I'm going to take my family's going on vacation for a week, or my family's going on vacation for 2 weeks. Or if you're lucky, you have a grandparent or somebody that has a farm or a ranch or a house at the beach someplace that you go and visit for, if you're lucky, a month. You know, but this was 3 months every year. We opened the bungalows Memorial Day weekend, and then most of us went back to the city for the last couple of weeks of school, and then we were there. We were there for the whole summer.
Yeah, through Labor Day.
Through Labor Day.
Let's talk about some of these amazing pictures that you've shared in the book, and I definitely want to get Chris and Barbara's thoughts on them. And I'm gonna be honest, when I first saw this picture, I was like, was it Halloween? Like, what was going on?
No, my father was a big activities guy. He always wanted something going on for the kids. So at the end of the summer, right before Labor Day, we would have a costume party. And one year he decided to change it up, and he made it, you could call it a bum party or a hobo party. And everybody got, dressed up, like a hobo. And my mother kind of dirtied our faces with charcoal that she had burnt. And she gave a couple of the kids, cigars. And we were all hobos.
Because at first I was like, Jackie, you ain't giving me no picture with no blackface on it now, is you? I don't know.
That's me in the front in the black T-shirt. Yeah, no, my mother would take, I think it was a cork. She would burn a cork, and she would just smudge our faces so that we look dirty.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me who's all in this picture, please.
Well, I'm the only one with a cigarette hanging out of her mouth. I'm behind my little sister Christine. She's in the white dress in the front. Oh no, wait, that's not Chrissy.
That's not Chrissy.
I don't
know who that is.
But now the girls that are near me, Eileen and Jermaine and Joni, they were people I hung out with. They were older than Jackie.
Got it. Wow. and what's going on here, Miss Jack?
That is a picture from, I believe, the 50s. That's my mother in front in the black. Her best friend, Peggy McShay, next to her in the white. Her other best friend, Jeanette Schmidt, in the background. And behind my mom is my Uncle Tony Farish. And that's taken at the beach. And that was sometime in the 50s.
That definitely looks like something from like a Happy Days or
yes. Yeah. And
there it is, Rockaway's Playland.
That's a picture that one of the people on the Rockaway pages gave me permission to use a couple of his photos, and this is one of them. So that's a picture of what was that roller coaster called? Was it the Atomic something?
No, it was
Atomic Smasher.
The Atomic Smasher.
The Atom Smasher.
Atom Smasher.
No, that wasn't the name of the roller coaster.
Yes, it was.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Pretty sure.
Well, anyway, do you remember? See, now when I was young, every Friday night, my father would give us $1, and I could go on 4 rides and then get an ice cream cone.
Look at that change, yeah.
$1 on a Friday night.
I love it.
Remember those railings?
Mm-hmm. We go on 4 rides and we get ice cream afterwards.
So this picture is Barbara. Is that you on the end?
No, it's me in the. No, oh God, Jack, I don't know. On my phone, I can't see.
That's you on the end, and then our cousins Lorraine and Fran. And I thought the other 2 were our McCluskey cousins, but I don't think it's them. I don't know who those 2 people are, but that's one of the porch bungalows.
I don't know who these people are.
Well, this is really before my time. These people are Barbara's age, so.
Barbara, how do you think that your childhood and your upbringing was a little different than Jackie's?
Oh, we didn't do things like Jackie and her friends. We, we weren't smoking and drinking. We weren't doing the things that they were doing.
Smoking and drinking.
We were happy to get up in the morning, put on a bathing suit, go to the beach. We skateboarded. We played basketball. We used to, me and my friends, we'd put the rocking chairs in the middle of the court and get something that looked like an oar, and we'd play boat. We didn't do crazy mischievous things.
You sound like the older, more responsible sister. Am I reading that right?
I am responsible. Jackie's pretty responsible. I'm just older.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Look, we did, and I have analyzed this, from every direction. But seriously, we were stealing cigarettes out of our parents' packs. Chris, I'm sure you remember us pulling our coins into dollars and standing out in front of Allen's Deli and trying to get somebody to buy us.
Oh yeah.
A bottle of beer. I mean, but I'm like, I don't know. Is that because we grew up in New York? Is that because the times were different? Maybe we weren't as bad as I think we were. Maybe kids are still doing that today. I don't know.
I don't know either, but it was a lot of fun.
You got kids, Chris?
I do. I have 2 daughters. Yeah.
How does their childhood different than yours?
A lot, thankfully. Yeah, well, there was I don't know, the 70s, whatever, 80s, there seems to have been a lot of free time between what we were doing and, what our parents were up to and stuff like that. I don't know if we were a lost generation, but there just seemed to be a bit of a disconnect and a lot of free time and a lot of running wild. There's no doubt about that. So I don't know if my kids just didn't seem to want to do it. Kids didn't, after my crowd, I don't seem like the people weren't hanging out on the street anymore. Video games and everybody was kind of staying home. I mean, we were out, all day, until we had to be home. And then we had to be home. And then a few minutes later, we were back out the back window and back out all night again. So.
And that was the thing in Rockaway. We were out all day. We had a little place across the street called the Love Box. Like we had our little meeting places, but we were literally out all day.
Yeah.
All
the
day.
Underwood Hotel.
On the computer all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's just not just Rockaway. I see it. Excuse me. It was here too. I mean, where the people just weren't hanging out in the streets anymore. Just different times. I don't know how we got so lucky to get the right one, in my opinion.
Do people hang out in the streets anywhere anymore?
Not that I know of. I mean, it's just not that, there's just too much to do inside right now. There was nothing to do inside back then, so we were out and running around.
Yeah, we didn't have play dates. We didn't have any kind of structured stuff. None of our friends had, piano lessons or dance group or
right. We weren't busy. There was no phones. You didn't call. You wanted to see a friend. You went to the house, threw a rock at the window.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, somebody was calling you. They were calling up to the window.
Yeah,
right. It's just that was the end of it. Like I said, they were far too connected after us. So I think that took its toll also, in my opinion. But that's another story.
We used to hang out on the street. We'd sit on the hoods and the trunks of cars. The
checkerboards.
Yeah, the checkerboards. Yeah, those are up at the boardwalk. And in Rockaway we had a lot of places to hang out. I mean, the boardwalk and the beach.
The bay was right there. There was always something.
The bay was just behind us. Yeah. Yeah, but
and then over by the park was that center, which was a public school during the winter.
The rec center. The rec
center.
Play ping pong or pool or.
Yeah, we used to hang out there on rainy days. Like if we had bad weather, that we'd go in there. Yeah.
Stratego rings a bell.
Air hockey. They had a great air hockey.
It was crazy. Hey, do you guys remember what they used to do in the flower beds down there? They had those huge flower beds on the end of the blocks, and they used to go every year. They used to put like 10,000 plants in each one, all different designs and all.
Yeah,
wasn't that amazing? That's something else that doesn't happen anymore, but that was amazing, right?
It was. They were beautiful on the not the ocean side of the boardwalk, but the other side. It was all recreation. There were handball courts, there were basketball courts, there were checkerboard tables and benches, where you could sit and play chess and checkers. There were the flower beds. It was all recreational. We used to play handball there. And then what was it? About every 10 blocks on the boardwalk, there was a lifeguard shack. Generally every so often there were someplace with concessions where you could buy food and drinks and stuff. But it was an incredible place to experience your childhood. And the backbone of this book, it's a memoir. It tells stories and experiences of my family. But over the course of a couple of decades, there were several things that, Rockaway fell into a very steep decline. Low-income housing was a big one. And Rockaway Beach wasn't the only place. It happened out in Coney Island and Sheepshead Bay and other places where there was this established community, this bungalow community that was literally razed and disappeared. It's not there anymore. And there were a couple of other things, but then the kicker was Superstorm Sandy in 2012, which literally the entire peninsula was underwater. And
yeah, it was heavy.
It was bad. I mean, you can see video and photos, online about it. It was unbelievable. But a lot of good came out of that. A lot of good came out. I mean, it was awful. Don't get me wrong. It was awful. There was a terrible fire in Breezy Point. A lot of homes were destroyed. But because of that, the city, the communities undertook, they made a big effort. And I was there. I drove through there about, 9 or 10 years ago. And I'm thrilled that they fixed it up as much as they've done. That storm was the impetus for them to get back on track. And I'm really glad. It's not the place we grew up, but it's still there. And I'm happy. As a matter of fact, from what I understand, some younger family members and friends back east, Rockaway's very hip now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you guys, Chris and Barbara, for sharing some of your stories. Chris, you just gave me the chuckle of my life. But
I'm going to kill you, Chris. I'm gonna
You
kill you.
Barbara, as her sister, though, I would like to hear from you what your hope is for her and this book and her legacy.
Well, I hope that she's on Facebook and she's got a lot of followers on her other sites, and I hope that the book is a great success. It would be wonderful if all the people that we knew in Rockaway would read it, because it's so nostalgic. They'll get a kick out of that, and it brings back a lot of memories. And I can only wish her success with the book. I hope she does very, very well with it, because she worked very, very hard on it, and it took her quite a few years. And it sounds like it all came together.
Amazing. Chris, your wish for Jackie and her journey as an author.
Yeah, I think it's fabulous. Congratulations once again. I just hope to be a small part of the movie when they make it, Jackie. This is great stuff. I can't wait to get a hold of it. You know what I mean? I also, what I found today? I was looking around. I have it hanging up in one of the back rooms there. Jackie, here's the keys to all of the old bungalows.
Oh my goodness!
I kept the rack. You know what I mean? I never wanted to get rid of it. So here's the keys to all of our bungalows.
Oh my goodness!
Love it all.
Oh my goodness! That's great. Wow. That's great.
But
wow.
Jackie, congratulations! Very cool. Looking forward to seeing it. And
thank you. I appreciate it, and thank you for doing this.
Yes.
Listen, I wish I could have been with you, but this is weird to me.
I'm excited
because literally I lost 1.5 foot of hair today. My hair was over my shoulders 3 hours ago. So
you cleaned up for us. I appreciate it.
There you go.
So thank you, Chris, again. And thank you, Barbara, for being here. And I hope to meet you in person one day.
Tanya, very cool. We'll
absolutely take it easy.
With nothing but the best. Very cool. I love that picture up front, too. I got to see it.
Love it. All right. Now, Miss Jackie, it's just me and you. And before I let you out of here, I want you to tell the people what you want them to get out of the book.
Remembrance of, times gone by. Remembering how simple life used to be. As Chris pointed out, that's something I never even thought about. We may have been, I think we were the last generation to hang out in the streets, to be outdoors all day, to not be glued to a screen someplace. That's really sad to me. So, maybe it's an impetus, for somebody to say to their kid, hey, get off the screen, go out and play with the traffic.
What do you want your legacy to be? Because you've done a lot. but your lasting legacy, what would you like for that to be?
My thing has always been, I just enjoy sharing the good stuff, no matter what that is. And I've always done that. I did that with my website. I did it with the podcast. I'm doing it now with the blog about the RV, and I'm doing it with this book. I just like sharing good stuff. When there's something good going on, I want to make sure that other people know about it. So sharing the good stuff.
I love that. Well, listen, thank you for being here. Thank you for spending time on the platform. We appreciate you. We adore you. And we are wishing you the very best.
Thank you, Tanya. Love you. Love you, girl.
You too. Hey, thanks for showing up to the podcast where we all know that the best leaders are lifetime learners. When you get a sec, take a moment, leave a comment. What you think about today's episode, and share it with someone that you know could use the gems that were dropped today. Follow and subscribe. You don't want to miss who's coming up next. You never know who could show up here and what they could say. For your professional needs, marketing, PR, communications, and leadership, make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Sand and Shores, or hit us up at sandandshores.com. Again, thanks so much for showing up. We appreciate you, and we'll see you soon.